Hey guys, I am so excited to be here with you today talking around making your mess your message. What does that mean? That means whatever you've been through, it doesn't matter because you can turn that adversity into your cure. You can turn that adversity into something great. You can turn that mess into your message. You see, 4 years ago when I was broke, when I was homeless, when I was a single mom with not a penny to my name, I learned to turn that mess into my message. And look where I am now. Speaking to thousands of people on stages all the time. I speak alongside Gary Vee, Tony Robbins, Jim Quick, some of the coolest dudes and coolest super gals too. But all of that would never have happened. I wouldn't be a best-selling author or be the mom I am today if I didn't first get my message clear and use what I have been through as a rebound to bounce back. Feel me? Good. Watch on. I'm going to show you in 3 simple steps how you too can bounce back and reset. Or you could say reset and bounce back. Whichever way you want, it works. So get a pen and paper. Make sure you've got a cup of tea too. I got mine. I'm so British. And I got my cup of tea. And now I'm going to go a little bit deeper with you. Make sure you've got that pen and paper and you read this through, you listen, you press pause, you write it down, and you apply. Because when we take action, we grow. You've got to unlearn what you know to grow. You've sometimes got to unlearn everything you thought you knew to get to where you want to be. Okay, so the very first thing when it comes to making your message is stepping up and acknowledging what you've been through. So I was reading this amazing book by Dale Carnegie, and this book is How to Worry Less. And I understood this method that he teaches, a very, very, very powerful method that's been around for a couple hundred years. And let me talk you through it, why it's so powerful. When something happens to you, you have a choice whether you're going to let that thing bring you down or whether you're going to let that thing take you to the next level. So how do you let that thing take you to the next level? How do you, as Rumi, the 16th century poet, says, make your adversity your cure, make your pain your cure? How does that happen? Let me tell you how. In this method that I'm going to show you today, in Dale Carnegie's message, and I definitely say his name wrong, I know, I'm trying not to butcher it, oh my God, apologies if I am. So here's what he said. You, first of all, acknowledge what you've been through. Okay, you accept. Then what you do, part 1, is you look at the worst case scenario. So you look at what is the worst case scenario of what I have been through. Okay, so to stop worrying, to stop going deeper into this deep dive of a mess and spiraling downwards, as by the way, I once did when I had anxiety, when I was ill, when I was in a bad place, bedbound, I would follow my trail of thoughts down until I got so deep and I was just, no, this is not going to work anymore. So I transformed it. And what did I do? I transcended that negative energy and I spiraled all the way back up with this exact method. So 1, you acknowledge it, okay? Then you look at the worst case scenario of what can happen. So let's say that you busted your car, okay? You busted your car and you are so scared about it. You're like, oh no, like what's gonna happen to my car? And you worry about it. That worry is the thing that's gonna dig away at you and take your joy from you. Worry steals joy. Worry and fear steal the present moment from you. And yesterday don't care about you, honey. Yesterday doesn't give a shit about you. Today is the only day that cares. Yesterday doesn't care. Today does. Today is all we have. Does that make sense? So looking at it, you got to look at what's the worst case scenario. What's the worst case scenario of this so that you stop worrying? Because all you're doing is thinking about, oh my God, what if, shoulda, woulda, coulda. This gets you nowhere. This is how to get out of control. You want to stay in control of circumstances that you really don't have much control over. This is what you do, okay? So first of all, you acknowledge what's the worst case scenario. What is the worst case scenario of this? So it's going to cost you a fortune to get the car fixed. It will be totaled. You don't have the money to pay for it. All of these. Work out what your worst case scenario is. Then what you do is you go to part 2. And part 2 is understanding and acknowledging that fact. That's it. Acknowledging that's the worst case scenario. So, okay, I can go to bed tonight because I actually now know that although I don't like it, the worst case scenario is that the car's totaled or that it's going to cost me a fortune. That's not where it stops though. That's where part 2 is complete. Part 3 is working on the worst case scenario to make it better. Working on that acknowledged worst case scenario and improving upon it so that there is a better case scenario for you. So if it's going to be totaled, how can you get around that? What's the best thing? Well, start looking for a new car. Start finding a finance company if that's what you need to do that's going to allow you to buy your new car. Get an insurance company that will be behind you and support you on the mess that's happened. Okay? And maybe if you turn your worst case, let's say the worst case scenario is that it can cost you a fortune. If it's going to cost you a fortune, then start working on how you're going to make that money to make it better, or what's the minimal amount you can do to the car to make it run, and then maybe sell it and get a new one. And all of a sudden your problem has transformed. You've turned your mess into your message, and now you know how to deal with anything that comes up, any worry, any fears, anything negative that comes up. You now know how to handle it because you feel like an empowered person. You feel like someone who overcomes problems easily. Take a deep breath and exhale. Good. You understand? That's the 3-part process on how to overcome your worry, your fears, how to make your mess into your message. Now let's go one step further. Let's say that you've been through something. I'm going to take my scenario, for example. I was broke. I had nothing. I felt stuck. I really didn't know how to get out of it. Now, all I knew was that I wanted to go on and be a role model for my son. All I knew is that I wanted to go out there in the world and make my son proud and make others proud and share with the world how I'd healed myself of this illness and how I was going to go on and get myself out of being broke and get a roof over my head and go on and be someone in the world. And so I made that my mission. I created a message of sharing hope and sharing peace and empowering others, inspiring others to also better their lives. Does that make sense? You can do this exact methodology too. You take your mess and you see, why is this happening to me? Okay, I get the message. And now, how do I share with the world how I overcame my own trauma? How did you overcome this issue? What did you do to overcome this adversity, this physical, mental, spiritual, emotional pain? What did you do to get over it? Because whatever you did is what you've got to do to share with the world. That's your message. You don't have to share it with millions of people if you don't have millions of followers. I didn't have millions of followers when I started off. I only had like a couple of thousand. But I shared it with my community. And then it started to go viral on Facebook and on Instagram. And all of a sudden I ended up with a massive following. That takes me to another point. In another video, I'll show you how to grow your Instagram following. But let me explain this here and now for you. Do not let that mess, that problem you've been through bring you down. Don't let it bring you to the floor where you're at your weakest point and you feel helpless. Take a step up. Take a step in the right direction. One small step a day, 365 steps a year. That's a lot of steps. Or go further, take 3 steps a day, which is 1,095 steps a year. You choose. You just got to take steps towards the new and improved version of you. What's happened to you doesn't define you. It's just a part of who you are. What you've been through is not your destiny for your future. This is your past, and you're not going to allow your past, well, as far as I'm here coaching and sharing with you, you're not going to allow it to eat you up and take over your present moment. The present moment is a gift. That's why they call it the present. Your past remains the past. Make it stay in the back. Allow that mess to stay there and not define who you're going to be. It's just a part of who you are. It's just a part of you saying, this is who I am today and why I'm here. Because I've been through this. I've overcome this. And now make that mess into your message and go out there today and share with at least 5 people, maybe in your WhatsApp group, your Facebook group, on Instagram, on YouTube. Go and share today how something you've been through, you overcame it, and how you turned that into your message. Because this is you and me, accountability, partnering with each other, saying, I'm going to go and do this. And then guess what happens? The domino effect. All of a sudden, because of that, you go and make this mission of yours powerful. You go and make this message your mission. Your message, mission. Thank you so much for watching today. Oh my God, I've had such a great time being with you here today, sharing. If you have enjoyed today's message, please do share it with a friend, somebody that needs to turn their mess into their message. And it means the world to every one of you that likes and comments below. And I love diving in there whenever I get a moment and catching up with you and hearing what you want to say and what more you want to learn about. I'm always open to new ideas, and I'll see you soon.